Hello, Philadelphia. I'm your boy Owen JJ Stone, a.k.a. Black E-Rock, and I am so happy to be here with you at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday for the cheap seats. I mean, there's so much turmoil, so much sadness, so much hope, so much joy in the city. And depending on which side of the line you're on, I might call you a moron or I might call you a saint. But an Eagles fan is what I will always call you because we are family here. And some families a little slower than others. Some, you know the ones that got the engineering degree and they come around the holidays, they balling out, and then you got the drunk uncle. Some of y'all might be drunk uncles, and it's okay because I still love you. Black E-Rock will always love you because I'm here to educate you and help you. We can't win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts playing that way. And I hear you. But I just want to remind you, the last time we went to a Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts threw for 154 yards, 121 yards, and in the game of his life, he threw for 375 yards. And you know who he lost to? Patrick Mahomes, who threw for 185 yards. The facts might make you sick, America. Come on, Philadelphia. Just be happy. I know it's rough. I know it's hard. A win is a win. A George W is a George W. And we're stacking them up on the road to victory. Guys. How you doing?
I'm definitely the drunk uncle.
Yeah.
In my family, I'm definitely the drunk uncle. So I'll take ownership of that. Are you? Where do you stack?
No, I'm the funkle.
Because
I don't drink.
Uh-huh.
I don't drink, so I'm not the drunk uncle.
Yeah.
But I might be the uncle that takes a walk at some point in Thanksgiving and comes back in a good mood. You know what I mean? I'm that uncle.
I know that guy too. Guilty.
It's just a weird thing when you have to give people numbers because you can't win in the playoffs playing like this. Okay.
Like playing like what? Winning football?
The biggest thing is just the way that it ended off. Because when you read those numbers, 154, 121, it sounds disgusting, but they were wins.
Yes.
And I saw him ball out and play one of the best games I've seen a quarterback play in the Super Bowl, outside of Nick Foles and Tom Brady, to be honest.
Yeah.
And we lost that game.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you want? Do you want the yards or do you want the wins? Do you want interceptions or do you want the wins? What do we want? It's like when you date a girl and you ask her, where do you want to go for dinner? You're asking the wrong question. You should say, I picked a favorite place for us to eat tonight. Can you guess what it is?
Yeah, right.
You have to phrase it the right way to get people to do what they want. I'm just dropping gems out here.
Correct. That's where we're going.
Let me write that one down. What a move.
And if you want to spice it up, you know what I mean? Because I play a lot of times. You make them tell them they're wrong on the first one, make them guess again. It's their second choice, but they'll still be happy. You know what I'm saying? So you got to switch it up. I'm just saying, I'm in these streets. You know what I mean? I'm in these streets.
Well, BG, if I can say, please. I will disagree with you, agree with you, and agree with you again after that.
Yeah,
we spend the majority of the regular season talking about, a win is a win, but you want to see the team progress. You want to see the team do better. You want to see them continue to work on the things that maybe they're not great at, right? We all talk about, even after wins, sometimes during the regular season, we sit here and him and haw, but. When it comes down to the playoffs, 100%, a win is a win because you are playing the top tier teams that earn the right to be in the playoffs. You are knuckling up against the best that the NFC has to offer. So if you win ugly, it doesn't matter. You win and I love how in the beginning, you always, I'll give you credit for this, Black Ready. You always, when you have an opinion, you have the computer and you have the facts and you have the stats to back it up. This team is finding a way to win. Was it Jalen's best performance? No, not even close. Did Jalen exhibit the rust that maybe I was concerned about? And I said, listen, if there's one thing that goes bad this game, it might be the rust that Jalen has coming off of a concussion, which isn't easy. And also, too, not having thrown the ball for a couple weeks. Yes, absolutely. But the defense kept them in the game. And the turnovers were amazing. They made a fool. I think made a fool out of Jordan Love.
Yes.
And listen, if we got to do the same ugly stuff against the Rams, I do not give a shit. I'm not going to sit here and bitch and piss and moan and whine and cry about they're not passing the ball enough or Jalen's just win. The quote the great Al, no, I wasn't so great. The quote the former owner of the Raiders, Al Davis, whose torch still is aflame somewhere in Las Vegas, just win.
Well, first of all, a little clerical error. You called him Black Gritty. It's Black E-Rock.
I'm sorry, Black
E-Rock. Let's just get that out of the way. All right, let's get that out of the way. I think it's unfortunate that we have to sit here and have this conversation yet again. To your point, was it the most electrifying performance we've seen from Jalen Hurts? No. Okay. Did they win the football game? Yes. But I think so too often anyway, we get so caught up with what bettors want or what the fantasy football nerds want or stats and numbers, and that's the end-all be-all without the context of the game, the content that matters. Because I tell you what, we all crown Justin Herbert, right? Justin Herbert's made the playoffs twice in 5 years. What do you got? 15 picks in those 2 losses?
The golden child.
Baker Mayfield threw for 40-some touchdowns this year. Where's his ass? Sam Darnold earned himself a $150 million contract this year with those numbers. Where's he at? Jordan Love, everybody tried to convince me he's elite. What's he doing? So for me, it's not about, and I don't even want to say that necessarily he was rusty. Is there an element to that? Sure. And we talked about it here. I sat here and I said, if he's rusty, is that what I'm going to hang my hat on and think that, oh my God, Jalen's rusty, we can't win the football game? No, because I wasn't concerned about it. And I don't think he was particularly rusty. I think, and I said this during the game, I started questioning, what are they doing? What's the MO here? What the design seemed a little, I don't want to say it flawed. And again, I know this all came out afterwards. I'll call my receipts that are on there. I said, are we sure Jalen's rusty? Are we sure Jalen isn't playing well? Or is that by design? Because I didn't personally, for me, I didn't like what the Eagles went out from a game plan perspective to like how they wanted to attack the Packers. Now, it worked because they said they can't beat our defense. And all we need to do is take care of the football and we're going to win the damn game because the Eagles know and Jalen knows that at the end of the day, that's all we care about. Win the football game. But if you want the stat nerds to get involved, if you want the fantasy guys to get involved, well, Jalen Hurts can't beat the blitz, except he went 3 for 5 for 62 yards and a touchdown against the blitz against the Packers. And in the second half, when it matters, he went 7 for 8 for 92 yards and a touchdown. So when the game was in the balance, he did his damn job. I'm just so over them week after week after week, no matter what the guy does, which is win. Nobody gives a damn because they just want their fugazi football fantasy number. It's just... To me, it's old and it's tired.
So I'm going to go out of order just for people that are watching the show. If you're watching the show later, which most people do, if you're live and in the chat, I interact with the chat. We're in with the chat. Third comment is, E-Rock's just going to ignore the fact that Dean's out. We're going to get slashed up. First of all, the show just started. We've only been talking for 3 minutes. We haven't gotten to the details of the game yet. So that's the kind of Negadelphia commentator. Right. Like, what are you talking about, bro? We haven't even gotten to the nitty gritty yet. But if you want to get to it, guess what? It's the NFL. It's next man up. It's one guy that went down. It was body bag 2.0, and the Packers are dropping like flies. They didn't have a wide receiver. They didn't have a cornerback. 3 linemen got taken out. And guess what? They still hung in the game, bro. So Dean going down is a big blow. But in the beginning of the season, in the training camp, he wasn't even had the dot on his head. Somebody else was getting all the snaps, and then he emerged. And that's why you have someone like Trotter who got to play in the last 2 games of the regular season and get more snaps under his belt. That's why you bring along other guys. That's why you bring up guys in the practice squad. If you want to cry about losing one player on defense, and that only time that matters is when Maddox ends up on the field, not your linebackers right now. It is a complete team, and a complete team means you have other guys step up. So if you want to complain about something 3 minutes into the show, I appreciate you because that is a Negadelphia that I live and breathe by. Now let's get into the game a little bit.
Okay,
I'll ask you guys,
and we'll absolutely get into the Dean.
Yeah. I know he's in a rush. So I wanted to service our community directly and help him out a little bit because he's a Dean guy and he's upset. He's hurt, and I'm hurt too.
And he should be upset.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
but I can't sit here. Well, we might as well just talk about it.
Let's jump into Dean. Go for it.
We're jumping into it. I can't sit here and whine and cry and bitch and moan about it when I take a look at the Detroit Lions and all the injuries that they've had to deal with. They lost their star defensive end. We don't have a defensive end on this roster that equal Hutchinson, right? Aiden.
Yeah.
We don't have a defensive end that is even comparable to that man. And they lost him. And they're still doing what they do. How quickly we forget the 2017 season where you have one of the potential the top 3 MVP candidates and Carson Wentz go down, and this city rallied. The city rallied behind Nick Foles. So did the team, because that's the type of culture that the Philadelphia Eagles try to build. Next man up mentality. That's part of that dog mentality, as corny. And I'm with you. Sometimes it comes across as super cheesy and super corny, but do those words not ring true in moments like this where you have a Nakobe Dean who is playing lights out. And intercepting balls to seal the deal and just having an absolutely phenomenal year, and we're looking at that guy going, that's the Nakobe Dean that we were hoping that we were going to get, that everybody looked foolish for not drafting and let slip that far down in the draft. Listen, Eagles fans, relatively speaking, we got it good.
We're lucky.
We are incredibly lucky.
Knock on wood.
This is, I don't even know what this is made of, but knock on wood. We have been incredibly fortunate to not have to go through the injury issues that a lot of these other teams in the NFC had to go through. So I can't sit here. Nakobe's going to be missed. There is going to be a significant drop-off at that linebacker position. All the more reason, by the way, I'm sure we'll get to, why you should be paying a guy like Zach Bond like yesterday.
No, Zach's going to get paid. He's going to get paid.
Oh, he's going to get paid, but he is a valuable linebacker, and it's such a shame to have him see that kind of injury. But I can't – it's too late to sing the blues. This is the postseason. It's too late to be scared. There's no turning back. We have to turn forward with the guys that we have and trust that these guys are going to be able to step up because of that connectivity in the locker room that they'll play for each other.
So, look, here's the deal. There's no getting around it. That's a blow.
Yeah.
Right? It's a
100%.
blow for the defense. He's your green dot. Vic, the reason, it's not just Coop, right? But there was a definitive reason why this defense took a turn at some point. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that obviously was when Coop became the starter in the slot. But a lot of that was because of the emergence of Nakobe Dean, right? So there's no getting around that aspect of it. He will be missed. He's leveraged heavily in that defense. Guys are going to have to step up. Now, you heard Vic this week sing the praises of Trot Jr., mm-hmm. but whether Trot starts, he may start, he may not. Look, I know that it's very casual this week and it's very convenient this week to bag on Orenberg. Like, I get it, right? He's a 7-year vet. He started the Super Bowl last year for the Niners and the loss to the Chiefs. And I'm not telling you that means that, oh my God, we're fine. No, of course we're not. Obviously, he's going to have to tackle better. There's concerns with him in the passing game. My point is, we at least have some experience. You have a good blend of at least a 7-year vet with some experience back there, big game experience back there. And then you got a rook who is athletic as hell, a sure tackler, and can probably defend the pass better. So Vic's going to have at least an opportunity to find that right matchup, find that right fit. It's going to be, look, I'm more concerned as I was watching that game. I couldn't get over the fact that, all right, they're winning a football game, a playoff game, and it was just in my crawl. And I was like, oh, but God, Nakobe. So I get it.
Yeah,
it was hard for me to enjoy that game because in the gut of my stomach, I was saying, but damn, Nakobe,
but
really?
Damn, yeah.
So, but let me just pose this question, because obviously the third comment was you're glossing over Nakobe out, doomsday. We're not going to beat the Rams. At least that was the vibe I got from it.
Yeah.
Who going into this week? If I told you, okay, we're not going to have Nakobe, and you got Oren and Trot, or you're not going to have, for example, Smitty, what would concern you more? Smitty.
Yeah, Smitty.
We didn't have Smitty when we played the Rams last time. And they still boat raced him. Now you're getting Smitty back, so I get it.
You didn't have Dallas.
Didn't have Dallas. You'd have Smitty. You lost Slay in the second half. We were banged up when the Eagles played the Rams last time, and they boat raced him. So as much as I understand, and I'm with you, I agree, losing to Nakobe Dean is not a good, that ain't a good scenario. But it's also unrealistic to think that this team was going to go in again with 22 starters healthy for a long run. It's the war of attrition. That's not how it worked. You see how Detroit's dealt with it all year. You see how the Packers had to deal with it last year. You see how every team, now including the Eagles, in this position of the postseason, has to deal with injuries. It's part of the game. You deal with it, you move forward.
Well, Julie's about to run my little paper side swipe because it's about that time. But now the person is also fighting for his life in the comments because he's being misquoted and being commented back about his quotes and his statements. And again, that's how we do Philadelphia. We jump all over things, and it's like, man alive, I love Philadelphia because you know what, we care. When you talk about other teams, you talk about other brands, we talk about it all the time. Like fanatic is a reason for fan. The fanatic is the part of the fan that it happens. Like, fans aren't, well, by my astute account, I think that Jalen Hurts has propagated 42% of the offense in the time of need. If you check out the stats, that's not what happens. It's your mom's stupid, your dog can't walk, and I hate you. What time's dinner? Are we meeting at the same spot? So I love it. It's really great. And Julia, take my paper break and cut it for me. Throw it up on the screen. And we're back already. Oh my God. The speed, the force. For a big man, my 40 time is pushing right around 4.2, 4.3. That's a lie. When I was in 8th grade, it was that. Now I might be pushing like a 6.7. Yeah, I mean, your boy got 40 yards in him. I'll tell you that right now. I always got 40 yards in me. So now let's move on to the Eagles offense and how they played against the Packers. I will remind you guys before you say anything. I love Tanner McKee, but he played against the Giants, who are a bottom 5 defense. My starting quarterback played against the top 5 defense, and they were second in the league at taking the ball away in turnovers. So with that information, Ashworth, be careful what you say, because you're in smacking distance. E-Rock is safe. I'm just letting you know, because
there's a reason why I always sit on the end.
I'm trying to give you a warning. So how do you feel about Jalen Hurts and the offensive performance? Were people open? Was everybody covered? Did he not make the throws? Did he have a concussion? Is AJ Brown hurt? Answer the question, Ashworth. Let's go.
Everybody's fine. Everybody needs to relax. The game plan was, all right, we need to hold on to the football, secure the football, time of possession, give the ball to Barkley. I mean, again, you saw it. It seemed like, Orlovsky said it seemed like Green Bay knew what was coming, that everybody was blanketed. So if it wasn't there, and he probably ran a lot of vanilla just to kind of break Jalen in, we said it last week, there's going to have to be a balance with Kellen in how much you want to knock that rust off and get Jalen involved in the game, but also keep him healthy because you're trying to go on a run. So am I concerned? No, I wasn't concerned last week. I'm not concerned this week. I think a lot of it is that we overlook anyway. I'll tell you this. And again, I already talked about stat nerds. I don't want to get into that. But the truth of the matter is there were 3 teams in the entire NFL that finished in the top 10 of DVOA, both on offense and defense. The Baltimore Ravens, the Detroit Lions, and the Green Bay Packers. For those of us that thought the Green Bay Packers weren't a good football team and the Eagles should just come in and run roughshod and do whatever they wanted on that Green Bay defense and just blow them out the water because that's how you're going to feel better about yourself, I would say you're misled. I would say you're discrediting that the Packers are a good football team. Now, that said, I wasn't worried about it because the Eagles are a better football team. They were better than the Packers, and they are better than the Rams. So for me, no, I'm not worried about how the offense looked, and I'm not worried about how they will look next week when we bring LA to town. That's just me.
The focus has been a lot on Jalen and how he's played. And I understand the trepidation that people have and the complaints about the offense, despite bringing home the George Dub. I perfectly understand where all y'all are coming from. Kellen Moore's a little culpable in this as well.
Absolutely.
I thought, in looking back at the original Packers game, and when we sat in these seats, not necessarily in the same order, but when we sat in these seats, I was very excited about how Kellen Moore used creativity to scheme guys open. And I thought in that offensive game plan, they worked a little bit too much and got a little bit in their own trap, which they tend to do, right? Which is too many vertical, long-lasting, too long developing routes. Instead of just dinking and dunking and trusting your offense, A.J. Brown's going to win a one-on-one matchup on a slant pattern 8 times out of 10.
Which they didn't run, by the way.
So I ain't worried. And so they weren't, I remember in the first, and I didn't go back and rewatch the first game down there in Brazil, but I remember crossing patterns, especially to Smitty. where Smitty has this uncanny ability to find the spot because they were playing zone, find the spot, settle down, make it think it's a stop and go, but it's not. It cut on a dime. That dude can run a route cutting on a dime, and they schemed him specifically open. I can remember specific passes crossing over to Dallas Goedert, very much akin to the one that Jalen Hurts checked into when Dallas Goedert just sunned a guy all the way 20 yards into the end zone. He checked into that. I would like to see from Kellen a little bit more, especially with the upcoming matchup where time of possession is going to be critical. Dinking and dunking and using, not just trusting your guys to win the one-on-one matchups on the outside in long developing routes, but rather using creativity and misdirection to give Jalen the opportunity to throw high percentage throws to high percentage guys that's going to move the chains at a high percentage. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. So before I get into my last soliloquy about that, I just want to give a shout out to Philadelphia fans and people who listen to this show and listen to my other podcast, because when Dallas Goedert ran for that touchdown, it was almost instantly as soon as he crossed the plane to get in the end zone, I had a tweet fired at me and it was like, somebody check on Black Gritty. I'm sure he threw his remote through the TV because Dallas Goedert is stiff arming somebody. Because I do the E Honda thing because he's always every time he's gotten injured, he sticks his arm out and he gets his arm hurt. And I complained about this for years. Yeah. So somebody who knows me at my core was like, I was like, but at least he was punching. Like he was actually stiff arming. Yeah. He didn't leave it out there. Like he stiff armed. He re-stiff armed him 3 times. So like, if Dallas Goedert, if you heard anything I've ever said and you're doing that now, God bless you. Because the guy was right. I was like, put your arm down. And then, okay. Here you go. Yeah. So,
which is such an underutilized move. Like, don't leave it out.
Don't leave it out. You got to.
You are now, and this is just the jiu-jitsu guy in me talking. Don't leave it out there. You're going to get that hurt.
Yes.
Don't do this. You're going to break your hand. Pop him.
And
pop him. It's legal.
And usually
pop him.
And usually he leaves it out there like he's trying to feel somebody's face. Like, hey, how you doing?
Stick the jab. Stick the jab.
So let me say what I want to say about Jalen and the offense. One, Saquon Barkley was run up against a brick wall. I don't hear anybody complaining about that. He wasn't getting anything done until late in the third quarter. It was literally like bang, bang, bang. Because again, the defense is good. Jalen Hurts missed 3 point-blank passes. He held onto the ball for extended periods of time and wouldn't let it go. Sometimes the guys recovered. Sometimes A.J. Brown there, you got to throw it open. And the last thing I'll say is it's everything, because you both brought up the Kellen Moore play calling and everything like that. But I'll also say, can we remember that my guy had a concussion, hadn't played for a month? Can we remember that A.J. Brown and Devontae did not practice last week because of knee, ankle, whatever? So you didn't, after a month off, I didn't get a time with my number ones to go and get the reps that I needed. And my coordinator's calling vanilla plays because my brain's a little wonky. The defense is playing out of their minds, and they're going up against a defense that is opportunistic. So if they're saying, look, we're balling out right now. Again, I don't like Nick Sirianni, and I get bad for all the time, but I've shut my mouth the last 10 weeks about it because results are what happens. And so Nick is like, look, my defense is playing good. I'm not going for it every time I'm 4th down now. I'm going to punt the ball. You know what? 3rd and 12, I'm not even doing a pass play. Run for it if you break one open, because Saquon is likely to do that sometimes. If not, punt and play the game the way it's supposed to be played. I like the fact that we're adjusting to the team. Styles make fights. I'll remind you, because we're going to talk about the Rams later. We're going to go through the division. We're going to talk about the Rams. But when we went to go play the Rams are healthy. The Rams are on a roll. The Rams are coming back. And they got dog walked by the Eagles. And guess what? They went out there and did the same thing. I made a lot of money telling everybody the Vikings lost to the Lions. They got beat up. Everybody who loses the Lions loses next week. The Vikings lost, then they got beat by the Rams. Oh, fast forward to the end of the season, they lost to the Lions, and buddy, they got beat by the Rams. And the Rams are going to get beat by us because history repeats itself. And the repeating happens this weekend in Philadelphia on E-Rock's birthday. Not Black E-Rock, the real E-Rock. Now,
did you bury the lead? We got a birthday this weekend.
No, I did not bury the lead at all. Yes, I did bury the lead.
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. I like throwing stuff out there because I'm in the captain's seat. and he's not in control. So, I'm just throwing things out there. If you want to say happy, I mean, you was dogging on him in the comments, so now you feel bad about what you did on the man's birthday week.
What
It is
are they saying in the comments?
Oh, I don't know. That was so long ago. It was like the first comment. We're not even worried about that now.
I can't even read the comments. Can you read the comments? Are they good? Are they bad?
I mean, they're terrible. But
Are they?
I mean, I'm in this seat. It's obviously a bad day. I'm yelling at people. I'm doing the things that I do. So wild card weekend, let's just go through that real quick.
Yeah.
The Ravens should be sending us a Christmas card because we gave them the blueprint on how to beat the Steelers, right? Run the ball down their throat, control the clock for 92 minutes, and don't let them breathe. Boom.
Exactly.
Facts.
Easy.
Lamar Jackson. The Bills are still the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody circles the wagons.
Like the Buffalo Bills.
Like the Buffalo Bills. I mean, Bo Nix, who won a game throwing for 60 yards, and I heard he's the greatest thing sliced bread. Young rookie coming in. He won a game with 60 yards passing.
Bro, first possession, you were like, wait a minute.
First possession, I was like, ooh. Yeah. And you know what they did? I don't know what the symbol is. Somebody said the Bills Mafia something, the guy on the camera. It's like when they do the Eagles at home. You don't do it. Then they got walked down 31 points straight with nothing. So Bo Nix got nixed, and Sean Payton got neutered. And I like Sean Payton, so I enjoyed that. What else happened?
And then your boys, Mr. Mayfield.
Baker fumbled that ball and broke my. I don't want to see Todd Bowles, but I also don't like seeing the Commanders prosper. I don't like seeing Magic Johnson and the other little weasel owner that owns the Sixers and the Devils out there partying in the streets. It makes me sick. I didn't like that at all. Oh, and you brought it up earlier. Herbert's had 3 must-win games. He had to beat the Raiders to get in one time, and he couldn't do that. Throws pick after pick after pick. So if you like the golden pony boy and his long hair, I suggest you get a girlfriend. That might make you feel a little bit better because Justin Herbert's not coming here, okay? He couldn't handle the pressure field of it. He couldn't handle you, me, or I, or the media that would roast him to death for throwing those picks. So you're stuck with Jalen. He has a no-trade contract, and I don't care what you say. They got walked. And Harbaugh, how'd you let him do it? You held him more than 3 interceptions all season, and then you let him throw for 4 in the game. Oh, why? Embarrassing. What else happened this weekend? That was it, right?
I think you covered it.
Oh, and the Eagles be the top 5 defense at home, and it was just immaculate. It was amazing.
So when you were talking about burying the lead, and I had that brief hesitation in my voice. Yes, it's my birthday on Sunday. The last time my birthday, January 19th, fell on a game day. Was again.
Don't even say it.
No, because the team's eliminated.
Okay.
Which is why I was so not talking about it.
Okay.
My 21st birthday, January 19th, last game at Veterans Stadium. Rondé Barber runs down the field. We close out the vet, and we don't go to the Super Bowl, which should have been our Super Bowl. We should be on Lombardi number 2. So when I saw Tampa Bay in the playoffs, and I saw that my birthday fell on a football Sunday, I was having Vietnam flashbacks. Like literally.
And it could have been Tampa Bay coming again.
Like you want to talk about, and it could have been. And you want to talk about, I would have never, like if we had to play Tampa Bay and you said it's your birthday, I would have taken this phone and thrown it at your face and told you don't even bring it up. Because you want to talk about repressed memories. How depressed do you have to be on your 21st birthday to not even go out and drink? It scarred all of you in the comments, all you listening, all you watching on Twitter right now, wherever it might be. That game scarred you. That game on my birthday murdered me.
Yeah.
So the fact that, listen, Washington, thank you. And listen, when they go up to play Detroit, I might learn the fights for like 3 hours and strictly for 3 hours only. Hail to the commander, whatever.
Watch yourself now.
Yeah, well, whatever goofy ass song they said they sing down there.
We are commanders.
Perfect. Let's go with that one. Because they eliminated Tampa Bay, which, by the way, of all the teams, like I'm not sweating any team in the NFC. I'm honestly not. But I felt like Tampa Bay, matchup wise, was the worst matchup that we could get because
Yes.
Todd Bowles just simply has our number. And I didn't want, again, I would be rocking back and forth in my seat at Lincoln Financial Field. Just what's wrong with Ian? Just he's going through it right now because all those memories were going to come up. So thank you, Commanders. Do me a favor, handle business again so we can have one more game at Lincoln.
Can we get a round of applause for the Commanders?
Very well done. Right. You get a golf clap. There you go.
Now go good boat race by the Detroit Lions.
I'm sorry. As you were saying before, I had to go spit out the reason why I didn't even bring up my birthday.
No damn idea what I was going to say.
I'm lost now. I apologize, but I have all the confidence in the world.
In the NFC period, right?
In my birthday.
Oh, in your birthday, in the next game.
In the next game in my birthday. We are going to reverse that memory and get it done.
So we're at halfway point of the show. What we're going to do now is move to the divisional round. We're going to talk about the other teams first. Then we're going to do the Woo player after we do an ad read screen. And then we're going to finish talking about the Rams so that everybody can be happy and understand how the butt whooping is coming. So the divisional rounds here, and I know wildcard weekend is fun, but I don't like the fact that two teams don't get a bye week anymore. That whole thing kind of sets me off and makes me feel some sort of way. And mind you, we wouldn't have got it. The Vikings would have got it anyway. So it's not like me being, I wish I had it. I just don't like the way the format's set up. And until they put an 18th weekend and you get another team in there, it just feels like unless you're the Dallas Cowboys, that 7th seed has no shot in getting a win anyway. So they just sneak in there. But this weekend is where you're at this point of the creme de la creme. I expect all these games to be closer. I expect all these games to be better. And I expect people to have to do something to help themselves get through it. So let's start with the game that everybody in America really wants to see. The Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens.
The Buffalo Bills, who, by the way, are plus 1.5 at home.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. They're plus 1.5 at home. Make that line make sense. You say, I will agree with you 100%. The NFL divisional round is the best week of football of the year annually. You can set your watch to it. As we go through these games, you're going to hear some of these lines. Shout out to Bet365. You're going to hear some of these lines. And Vegas doesn't think a lot of these games are going to be very close. The Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens has to be by far the premier matchup of the weekend. Two of the heavyweights going at it. This winner of this game right here could be easily representing the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Do we know what the weather's going to be like up there in Buffalo? Like, why is that's really?
I thought it was an error in the car before I came up here.
Is their game on Saturday or Sunday? I'm blanking right now.
Their game is Sunday
night. Okay.
Sunday at 6:30.
So they've got snow, but it'll be done by Saturday night, and they're really good at removing the snow. So it's just going to be cold up there. So who do you think wins that game?
I think Buffalo does.
I want Buffalo to win, like in my heart, but I need the Ravens to win. They have more firepower. If Zay Flowers comes back and they've got Derrick Henry, they've got a great tight end, they've got a solid defense. When I look at the Bills, they just win with Josh Allen. And what are they supposed to do with Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes? It's literally one dude against the whole squad. At least the Ravens have 1, 2, 3 ways to beat you. Lamar could run it. He could pass it. Henry could run it. Flowers could catch it. The defense. With the Buffalo Bills, it's like Josh Allen, 6 touchdowns to weird people, and Cook gets a touchdown, and the defense gave up 48 points. I just don't like the way the Bills make me feel with their firepower. Ashworth?
What you reading there, buddy?
Just a little motivation. Just trying to get my head in the show.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So now that I'm recentered and refocused, I actually think it's going to be a really good game.
Because Philadelphia reads, we want to make money. Men with Balls is the name.
Is that what it's called?
Men with Balls.
Men with Balls? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's how you get your mind right. Men with balls.
Okay.
Right? It's a phenomenal matchup. I'm really looking forward to it. It's one of the games. I mean, obviously, all the games, like you said, it's creme de la creme. All the games are going to be at least entertaining and worth the watch this weekend. That's what happens when you get to this point in the postseason. But this is one of those matchups where we kind of put a pin in it and said, I mean, these teams are going to match up in the postseason. We know that. It's just whether is it going to be in the AFC Championship game? Is it going to be the divisional round? I mentioned earlier in the show DVOA, and I'm telling you oh, you actually have the book, you son of a bitch. You always got to one-up me. You always got to one-up me, Gritty. You son of a bitch. Get your mind right while I spew. I mentioned earlier in the show that the Baltimore Ravens were one of 3 teams to be top 10 in DVOA on both offense and defense. And I'm telling you right now, offensively, they set historic numbers in terms of DVOA. So the trick for Buffalo is you got to keep up.
Yeah.
You got to keep up with what Baltimore's doing because Lamar Jackson has shown my man can sling it. And all this nonsense about my man can't read the defense, he can't throw the football, like my man can sling it. And then on top of that, you got Derrick Henry. Buffalo, I don't think has the firepower to keep up with them. I think Baltimore's going to have their way with the Buffalo defense. I think it'll be a phenomenal matchup because you got the 2 MVP, I guess, the 2 most likely MVP candidates going head to head. That's just going to be a fun game to watch. Ultimately, can Lamar get his team back to the AFC Championship game? Right? Because I mean, the eyes are on him. They expect this guy. The only thing left for Lamar is Super Bowl. Like, bro, you got to get to the Super Bowl and you got to win it. You've done everything else. There's no way you can be a 3-time MVP and not even play in the Super Bowl. Like, that's unheard of. So the pressure's on Lamar, but damn, that's going to be a fun game.
Gritty, would you like to read a passage from your Inner Excellence book?
Oh, are you guys done?
Yeah.
I mean, I can let you know where I'm on page 36. The name of each adversary describes its effects: the critic, the monkey mind, and the trickster. The critic is that judgmental voice in your head. It delivers a negative verdict on something or circumstances, or some person, often yourself, that reacts emotionally to that judgment. In our discussion, we define the words judge as to deliver a negative verdict, whereas to discern is the wisdom to consider your best course of action. Now, I say that to say this. If you're reading this book and you live in the city of Philadelphia, maybe your life might be a little bit better. Maybe you might want to sit on the sidelines and take a little time. And maybe you might also be better than your co-host at every single thing you do. I don't want to say anything, but if you
Men with balls doesn't stack up?
No. It's not even that the men with balls. It's just, give me my solo shot. Let me show you something, okay? I'm a petty man. I'm so petty that I let this individual before the show get that book off the shelf knowing what he was going to do. I waited all episode for him to do it. And I watched him go and read those balls. Men with balls. It's good that he has balls. It's good that he went out there and he did. It's good that he thought about doing it. But did he think about ordering the book? Did he think about getting it overnight? And did he have the glasses? He did not. So he has to sit here and suffer being second best while I read an excerpt from the #1 selling book in America, because Philadelphia reads. And the more you read, the more you know. Take a look. It's in a book. A Reading Rainbow.
Oh, wow, dude.
Anything.
Ashworth, I'm telling you,
show.
bro, you got to stay. You
Bro,
gotta,
it was
you gotta
last
stay
minute
ahead.
for me,
You got to
It was last
stay ahead
minute.
of the
I
grid.
didn't stay
ahead of the
ahead.
grid.
It was last minute. But when you were reading that, I thought it was very funny. I genuinely think you'll appreciate this. I thought it was very funny since you're reading passages, and what you were reading there was talking about the critic, and it actually reminded me of, I thought it was eerily similar to one of my favorite passages, right? And
Which you've told me.
so it's actually a speech from Teddy Roosevelt in 1910, Citizenship of the Republic. And in there's a passage that is now known as Man in the Arena.
Yes.
And for me, that is like, my favorite passage. And I say that, I mean, we all, like A.J. Brown reading a book
It's
on
not
the
an
sideline, it's not an issue for 2 reasons. Like, A, he's done it, and this isn't anything new, and his teammate knows it, and his coach approves of it, and whatever they got to do to get their mind right, as Sirianni said. And I'll say this for you because we've talked about it.
We have.
It's like, I do it. I do that stuff. Look at Look at the shit that's on my wrists, right? Everything kind of has a meaning to me, and everything. Now, maybe I don't have a book that I carry around with me, but I got a passage that I love. It's not in Men with Balls, but I do have passages I love, and I got little reminders on my wrist throughout the day, whether it's on my left or my right, that remind me of certain things that motivate me, help recenter me, where it comes from means something to me. That passage means something to me. We all take things, we take something from those things. For him, it's a book. But for each of us individually, we all have things that we lean on. We all have things that we need to help recenter us, get our mind right, get back on track. So for me, I think, like, good for him. Good for him for picking up a book and reading it, getting his mind right. I had zero issue with it.
So anybody who has an issue with it, they just want to be mad about something and they don't like AJ, and I get that. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with you. But everybody else should understand, athletes, what's the first thing and the last thing they do on that field? Praise God.
Yeah.
You know how many guys have passages like just written on a piece of paper
On
or
their
a
shoes.
scripture or something like that that they just read? If he was reading the Bible, would you dare have this thing to say? This book has absolutely nothing negative in it. So your negative connotivity is exactly why someone like him would read that book. I read the perfect quote. I could have kept on going. The page that we stopped on was 36. And it was literally like, if you live in Philadelphia, I'm here to help you survive. That's what this book is doing, because there's so much negativity coming at you, and the book is just trying to help you reframe, refocus, recenter, and block out the negative things that sometimes come from within, so you can refocus on the positive things that you need to get done going forward. So, I mean, my goodness, if you're mad about a book, I can't help you. We obviously don't care. Not a big deal.
No, and before, Jay and I had lunch when I was first coming up with the concept of this show, and he told me about that. Remember, we were in King of Prussia.
Yeah. No. We were
We were somewhere. We were eating lunch.
Willow Grove.
Willow Grove.
Willow Grove.
Yes, and you told me about that, Pat. I have my own thing, which is I don't read. I don't get it from a book. You all know I can't read, right? So I don't get it from a book, but I'm a big practicer of Stoicism.
Yep.
And I shouldn't even say practicer of Stoicism, because Stoicism isn't a motivational thing. It's a finding your center, being at peace, understanding that adversity that you go through in life is actually tests that sharpen and toughen up the mental spirit of who you are as an individual. There's a lot of layers to it. If you're going to dive into it, don't go to YouTube and look up Stoicism and look at, hey, here's the modern Stoic. Screw that guy. Like, a lot of it's commercialized now. Like, here are 3 Stoic rules to get over on your enemy. No, if that's your thought process, then you're not following Stoicism. Go and read some stuff from Seneca, the philosopher. Go and read some stuff from Marcus Aurelius. And what it does is it helps center me to realize some of the adversity. What is that?
I'm good at finish. Go ahead.
Some of the adversity that I go through in life is part of the human condition, and to accept it and realize this is a test for your mental spirit, and it is going to sharpen you as an individual. It's not a motivational thing. It's a soothing ointment for the irritation and the hurt of life sometimes. Look into it, but look into the old stuff. Don't look into the new stuff.
You got to read out of a passage. You're now giving me the I got the goosies, right? Just listening to you, because I know where you're coming from. And dude, if you'll give me 2 seconds, I want to read the passage.
Go.
I want to read the passage just because I'm here. It's not the critic who counts, nor the man who points at how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short time and time again, who spends himself a worthy cause. I love that part. Who spends himself of a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I'm reading it, and it just gives me goosebumps. I love it. I actually read it. Brene Brown is an author, and she wrote the book Daring Greatly. That's why I first found it years ago. I don't know how the hell we got on this.
Yeah,
I mean, thank you, AJ Brown.
But it's AJ Brown, and listen, everybody. I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of people will have their own way of keeping themselves focused, keeping themselves on track. Players will write little, like you said, passages of the Bible or have a number of somebody that maybe had passed away, a teammate that they're playing for. There's nothing wrong with keeping A.J. Brown, who is known to be a little bit emotional at times, focused and centered and with his eyes locked at the task at hand. There's nothing wrong with that. The cameras just happen to pick it up.
Task at hand, the Chiefs are playing the Texans.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
The Chiefs are playing the Texans. I'm a heartless person. I don't have any passages or
Boat
anything
raced.
to think about. The Chiefs are playing Texans. Texans are going to lose. America wants it. The refs want it. It's what's going to happen.
Which, by the way, Chiefs giving up 8.5 points.
Woo! That's a little big number. They're going to cover. Actually, it's going to be a closer game than that. The Chiefs have been like, a win is a win all season long. They've been barely beating anybody all season long, and nobody cares that their wins are just a win because they're just winning barely. They suck, and I can't stand them, and they make me sick, and they win too much, even though they only win 16% more than we do. Anywho, the Lions are playing the Commanders. Who do you want to win?
Oh, who do you want, or who do you think?
Give me the Commanders.
Commanders?
Give me the Commanders all day.
Commanders?
I'm not scared of them even a little bit.
No.
I ask, who do you want first? Who would you want?
Well, we all collectively want one more game at Lincoln Financial Field. We want to host we want to become the de facto
Yep, that's the answer.
number one seed and host, because at that point, like, bring it on. You think you're coming into that building with a rookie QB into the link with all of us?
I'll tell you, Jerry Jones
walking out with a dub.
I'll tell you, Jerry Jones wants the Commanders to win more than anything he's ever wanted in his life right now.
Yeah, because he looks like an idiot.
The Lions game is the highest NFL ticket ever outside of a Super Bowl, which was recently before held by the Dallas Cowboys. The average ticket is starting at $592. The average is $991. So unless you're going to the Super Bowl, this is the hottest ticket that you can get. And I know Jerry's over there rolling around in his pre-grave, very upset about this.
Which, by the way, and let's touch on Mr. Jones a little bit later. But I was on a conference call with Vince from Philly Sports Trips like late last night, and we're already planning the Detroit. Like if we go to Detroit, and I'm thinking to myself, how were we even going to get tickets? Like, he has a way. He will find a way. But that has got to be the absolute for Detroit to host an NFC Championship game, having never the miserable history that is that franchise.
And after last year's run, the anticipation has just gone up and up and up. And I'll tell you what, if you've ever been to Detroit, they don't have a lot of other things to spend their money on.
No.
And their team has been dog crap for 30 years. So they've been saving their pennies. So I don't know how he's going to do it either. But
you go.
But I go.
And by you, I mean we go, and we have a little Cheap Seats podcast, a remote.
Yeah,
get the wheels spinning.
I'll talk to the guy.
Get the wheels spinning for a Cheap Seats remote.
I'll talk to my guy.
You know a guy?
I know a guy. Listen, I got a police escort into the game.
Okay, all right, good. Good, you're down,
I know
right?
a guy.
So who do you think wins?
He's not in.
Detroit.
All right. Yeah, Detroit.
I give Blacker the credit. He's trying to keep it on the rail.
I got things to do.
Yeah, he's trying to keep it on the rail.
We got a defined time we could be on.
We don't have a defined time.
That's my point.
I got things to do. Can we run my paper schedule?
Oh boy.
Lightning McQueen in this piece. I tell you what, E-Rock could never. I'm just saying. Some guys need blue chews and enhancements. Not your boy Black Gritty. That au naturel ginseng coming through. Ka-chow. Oh, you see it. You can feel it. It's palpable in this bit. Anywho, Julie, also you can ring up my woo player.
Bro, what did you say? When you did this?
Lightning McQueen, bro.
So we haven't done the show in 9 years. So let me remind everybody how the Woo Player of the Week works. I say, with the order, you pick one player from last week's game or any other sport, but it's got to be a player, and that's your player. You say their name, you say why they're your woo, we say woo, everybody's happy. You mess it up, I embarrass you and your family name. Going first this week is Jason, I read balls, books, Ashworth.
Whatever the hell that was. All right, look, here's the deal. I'm going to go off script. I'm not going to give you the name right away Because in 2018, this young man was drafted by the Green Bay Packers. Mostly played special teams, was discarded, signed a 2-year deal with the San Francisco 49ers, tried to make something of his career, ended, as I mentioned earlier in the show, with a start in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. Fast forward, signs a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, a special teams player. Not much to look at. Fair enough. But on the biggest stage for him, against his former team, the Green Bay Packers, on the opening kickoff out of Lorton, Virginia, by way of Vanderbilt University, Oren Burke lays the absolute wood to give the Eagles the ball and the lead for which they would not relinquish. My Woo Player of the Week is Oren Burke. I thought what he did for that team in that game, in that moment, it defined the football game. So for me, in this moment and moving forward, because we may be counting on him, so consider this a little boost. If you need it, Mr. Burke, you, my friend, are my Woo Player of the Week.
That was amazing.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Thank you.
E-Rock.
Now, first, before I give you my woo, and he's waiting for me to dig my own grave, I just want to clarify 2 things right off the top. Number 1, friends and listening audience, I do not take Blue Chew, despite what that man says. I do not take the Blue Chew.
It's Viagra. It's the original.
Yeah, I handle.
He's old school.
Yo, oh man.
A hit dog hollers. You're defending something I just inferred. I didn't technically say.
And we're not
Secondly,
judging. There's no judgment here.
I want to clarify, based upon Gritty's DMs, I do not host tailgates. I tailgate hop around. So I do not host tailgates. I frequent tailgates. Just to clarify that up. My Woo Player of the Week is somebody who, when we first started this podcast in the beginning of the season, that we worried that would be a bust of the Philadelphia Eagles draft class. We worried that he did not have a rush move. We worried that if it had not been for Jalen Carter, that this guy would have been the Mike Mamula of our generation. And instead, what he did was continue to grind all season. And his talents came to fruition in that game when he had 8 tackles, 4 for a loss, and 2 sacks. Oh, God, my Woo Player of the Week.
Don't do it.
Why are you cringing, dog? My Woo Player of the Week, I'm sorry, Nolan Smith is my Woo Player of the Week. Why are you cringing?
Already been mentioned.
Who mentioned it?
Who mentioned it?
I did like a month ago.
That was a month ago.
That was a month ago.
But I thought we could only say it one time.
So
Gritty,
they're your rules.
Gritty, please explain to this man
we don't do
from somebody who screws up the rules all the time.
It is a very loose feeling. We don't do back-to-back weeks. Like if one week you're like Nick Sirianni, next week you're like Nick Sirianni, and you're back-to-back. We haven't had a show in a month. How's he going to remember? We didn't remember the order. I'm not going to kill him.
I'm over here getting Oren Burke, for Christ's sake.
But the reason I'm going to kill him, the reason I'm going to kill you is
me.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh no! Oh,
when
God
you're giving
damn it.
your description of soliloquy, you're out here Mike Mamula, Jalen Carter. You named 4 freaking Eagles before you got to your Woo Player of the Week. Like, bro,
he told a story.
It was a good story.
He told a story. He didn't mention the name.
How
until
you
the
going to
end.
me and not him?
Because he was talking some random soliloquy and didn't say a name. He's
I'm
just
a man
over here
with
talking
balls.
about random stuff. He
No,
said from Vanderbilt school, went to
no.
high school and married a dog.
No.
He told all this other random stuff
No.
and didn't mention names. Either way, you guys are fine. Everybody's okay. Let's calm down. Let's just relax. That was a great Woo Player because he did a great job.
He's over here cringing.
I was
scared.
didn't say anything.
Read your balls book. Read your balls
He
book.
might need the balls, but he's worried. He cares about you and your safety. But my player, can I think of something to say about him so I can't say him until I get to saying it? Golly gee. The guy that I like, the guy, he is one of the premier young players in the NFL. He plays the quarterback position. He's one of the highest paid guys he's looked at as part of the future of most in general franchises. And this guy is someone who a lot of people believe in, care about, and think is going to have a great job. He's been tutored and mentored by other great quarterbacks and a long lineage of quarterbacks. And if I wanted to say those quarterbacks' name, I say in the essence of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. And so my woo player of the week is the man who gave 3 interceptions to the Philadelphia Eagles defense, Jordan Love. You are my woo player of the week. I thank you for your service.
I call bullshit. You just mentioned Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Wow! Wow! Walk it off, E. Walk it off.
And that,
Valid
my
point.
friends,
Valid
is
point.
how you throw a dog a bone.
Because he was one step ahead of you. He wanted to do it. He knew.
Yeah,
he knew. It was on the grid board.
Gotta make my guys feel good about themselves. I mean, I know I bash people down, but you gotta love them up too. You gotta love them up. Last thing I need is these guys crying on their way home after the show. Now let's get to the important stuff. The Philadelphia Eagles, divisional round playoff game at Lincoln Financial Field, are playing the Los Angeles Rams, who are on a short week, coming back from a very, very terrible situation in their home. We feel sad for them. We pray for them. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to whoop their ass when they come here to visit on Sunday. Ashworth, how do you feel about the game?
So earlier in the show, you had said, it's what America wants. You were mentioning the game, and you're like, yeah, it's what America wants to see, this, that, and the third. And part of what I guess kind of concerns me from the quote-unquote Negadelphian side or the conspiracy theory side, put our tinfoil hats on, is you have – so obviously we saw it, and our hearts go out to the folks in L.A. and dealing with what they're dealing with. But it is a major storyline right now that gets eyeballs, right? So there's a reason to follow L.A. Oh, by the way, you could have the storyline of Matthew Stafford returning to Detroit with that LA storyline to face his former franchise, who is also now in an NFC championship game with the quarterback that the Rams traded to go into purgatory. So from a storyline perspective, I look at that and say, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't you tell me that that's what you're going to script and push through. From a football perspective, man, I told you this. I've been saying it all year. There's not a team, and sure as hell not the Rams, that I fear. And if we're going to talk about the Rams specifically, and you are one of those guys that does not have balls, I ask you, what are you afraid of? What wins football games? If you look at is it overall defense because the Eagles are a better football team? Is it rush yards because the Eagles are a better football team? Is it rush yards allowed? Nope, that's Eagles. Time of possession? Nope, that's Eagles. How about third down efficiency on defense? Nope, that's Eagles. How about third down efficiency on offense? Nope, that's Eagles. As you go down the list of what you really feel are the difference makers. And I get it. There's going to be little areas. You'll give the edge to Stafford. You'll give the edge to maybe the defensive line of the Rams because that is a solid group. But as you go down and you decide what really wins football games, I don't know how you could look at this game any other way than say the Philadelphia Eagles are far and away the better football team. They boat raced them before. I think they boat race them again. I'm not telling you they're going to win by 30 or 40, but when I say boat race, I mean they're going to win this game convincingly. The offensive line manhandled them last time. The Eagles weren't even healthy on offense. They didn't have their full complement of weapons on offense last time. I don't see much difference of an outcome this time, especially because you were talking about the Bills game, especially if weather is going to be a factor. And you're telling me that I don't necessarily have to be as concerned with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, that I can run the ball down their throat and focus on stopping what they do offensively? Man, miss me with that fear of the LA Rams.
I like that. So before you go, inside baseball, I've been, like I said, sometimes you got to love your guys up. You beat them down to bring them up. I've been prepping E-Rock all day. As soon as he got in the door, I've been just negging him and poking at him. So I just wanted to go back and just remind him. The second comment we got was we were ignoring Nakobe Dean 3 minutes in. But the very first comment that we got before you give your answer was, E-Rock is not representative of this fan base. Pure bozo. With that information in mind,
Bullshit.
I'm
just going to say. Let's go.
How do you feel about the Rams and the Eagles on Sunday?
Well, first of all, regarding the comment, right? I don't claim to be a representative of this fan base. I claim to be a passionate fan who, through words and I would say talent, has been able to share that passion with anyone who's willing to listen.
Yes, sir.
If you're not willing to listen, F off. That's all I got for you, because I don't need you to read the man in the arena quote again, but if you don't like what I got to do, you've got other things to do, and that's okay with me. There you go. I will first of all start with the Rams with saying the absolute horrendous thing that's going on over there, and those poor people. I would never wish that upon anybody. My thoughts and prayers, and I know thoughts and prayers are such a cliche bullshit term, but that's all you can do for them at this point. It's such a horrific thing that they're going through. So my heart breaks for all of them out there. I will compliment the Rams first and foremost with a couple observations from the game. Number one, I thought the way they used the blitz against the Vikings and Sam Darnold was incredibly effective. They kept it moving. They kept it coming from different angles, right? They had corner blitzes. They had stunts. They had linebacker blitzes. They faked the blitz. They dropped out. They had Sam Darnold, who, by the way, is a statue back there, and not a good statue, an ugly statue, like the Dwayne Wade statue. That's the kind of statue that we're talking about. They had that guy running for his life. So I'll compliment the Rams defense and the blitz packages that they came up with. Also, I know the passing game has struggled with the Rams for a while, but the way Stafford is able to fundamentally climb a pocket and keep a pocket moving and reposition himself and reform a pocket while keeping his eyes downfield, he is a savvy veteran who, if you take for granted, will make you pay. All right, those are the two compliments. However, I think they showed their hand on their blitz packages against the Minnesota Vikings. If they think they're pulling that stuff, and I know the Tampa Bay has had success blitzing, and that's always been the successful. You don't hear that much anymore against the Philadelphia Eagles, do you? You don't hear that was a last year thing when they didn't have an offensive coordinator who knew how to handle a blitz. Jalen is healthy. He's back. He's not Sam Darnold. He is a weapon. And if you make the mistake of giving pressure a little bit too much to one side, he will escape out the other side, and that man will make you pay. Not necessarily with his arms, but with his legs. So that's an added dimension. Don't assume, Eagles fans, that the same defense is going to have the same efficiency against the Eagles as they did against the Vikings and Sam Darnold. Go ahead.
And to add to it, because I agree with everything you're saying, to add to it, you mentioned they showed their hand, and we just got done spending the entire first half hour talking about how the Eagles didn't.
Yeah, the Eagles
were completely vanilla and bland. And then let's just add on top of that, just the logistics of everything, which matters. It really does. You can't poo-poo it. It's a West Coast team, a warm weather team, flying east on a short week, losing 3 hours, playing in cold weather.
Do you need 9 days to talk? Because, I mean, we have things to do.
That was gonna be my other point, is that beware, Rams fans, of the team coming off an incredibly emotional win for one reason or the other. We saw the Vikings do it with the what was it, Minnesota Miracle or something like that.
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs. When you have that sort of emotional, where you have to deal with adversity of picking up everything and then moving to another stadium and having to go through all these things, and you got a city that's hurting behind you, and you got to win for that. It was an emotional win, and I was like rooting for the Rams, man. You want to see them win for the city of LA. That's a lot to shoulder to then again a dome team, a West Coast team on a short week. What?
I was sitting here thinking, I remember saying this against the Bucks in 2003. Or was it 02?
Why you
02?
gotta bring
No,
up?
02.
I'm
02,
having the
sorry, I'm sorry,
flashbacks. I'm having the flashbacks again. What are you doing to me?
I'm
What are
just
you
saying,
doing to me,
I'm being
man?
real. Like I'm on board. I don't fear anybody. But when you said that, I'm like, there's no way the Rams can win.
Shut up.
I already tried to tell him to shut up. And
Birds
keep
win.
Oh, you were just telling me. I thought
Birds
you were telling
win.
us.
You keep asking him
Birds win.
questions.
I thought you were telling
Birds
us
win.
to shut up.
I'm gonna start like rocking back and forth. Birds win on my birthday.
Grady, what do
Birds
you
win
think?
on my birthday?
What's your outlook for the game, Grady?
So again, in the great words of Shaq, it goes 1, 2, 3, not 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1. Okay, that's first.
I don't know.
Secondly, yeah, exactly.
Maybe it
Secondly, E-Rock, I think you did a good job because the first comment I saw was, y'all just hating E-Rock because he clever on social media game. Don't hate, be great. And then another one said, I like E-Rock. He's funny. So I think you did a really good job, bud. And I appreciate you. Now,
Thank you.
Why don't I ever get any love from Grady?
because in the middle of everyone talking, you put your little soliloquy in, and we give you your full time. We don't interrupt you when
It's
you're
a
you had your
podcast, not a soliloquy.
Oh, when you talk, it's a
you-
No, you
soliloquy.
cut me off. We can go back and forth.
You did steal my points. You did steal the
And he was
points.
trying to
You
give
gave
it
it to
there.
me. You gifted it. You said, go
I
ahead.
did
what?
not
That's
gift it
why
to
I
you.
told him to shut up because he's too
I
nice.
have a gift receipt. I'm returning it and exchanging it for something that I like.
I don't know. Maybe it's my background. Man. I just come from I like to debate and talk, and you
Yeah,
say
we
something,
do
point,
that.
counterpoint,
Yeah.
punch, counterpoint.
Yeah, we
no.
do that. But now when we're doing the thing, when he's cooking, let him cook. When he's cooking, let him cook. You know what? I think you should put some salt in there. Well, I'm allergic to salt, buddy, and you just ruined the dish.
I think the dish is delicious.
Well, you do, but he's allergic.
So you think you know what you think is delicious? Men with balls.
Yeah,
I don't think that, Mr. Viagra.
Yep.
Mr. Blue Chew. The hell out of here.
Oh man!
The hell
When
outta
these
here.
cameras turn off,
I mean,
you're gonna see how much of a grunter I am. You're gonna see how much of a grunter I am. Bringing up my birthday and the Bucks. Oh my God!
So, for the first time on this show, I'm going to take care of business in an old-fashioned way. Julia, single cam one, mute their mics, and let's go. Now, are they muted, Julia? Okay, good. Now, on Sunday, the Philadelphia Eagles get to play Los Angeles Rams. If you didn't know, every time lately since Carson Wentz, when they play the Los Angeles Rams, the Eagles just light them up. I mean, we lost Carson and we still went on to win the Super Bowl. It was a fantastic run. If you're an LA Rams fan and you think that you could beat the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm sure you're having PTSD like these other two guys are, because that's what we have done to you. It'll be on a repeat mode record in your head, because when you come here to Philadelphia, it's even worse. When we beat you at home, at least you get to go home, tuck into your covers and cry yourself to sleep and in your comfortable bed. You're going to try to fly out here to get tickets. You're going to end up in a crappy hotel room because Philadelphia doesn't sell their tickets, and you're going to take an L. Now, if you want to feel excited about something, I'll remind you that on the frozen tundra of Lincoln Financial Field on Sunday, you might get shades of Shady McCoy with Saquon Barkley running through the snow. I think there might not be that many passing yards. A.J. Brown might go 0 for 0, and it doesn't matter. Smitty, I don't know who he is. Dallas Goedert might be stiff-arming his way with a blue chew into the end zone. But either way, it's going to be a George W. for the Philadelphia Eagles, because it's what we do when we play the Rams. If Goff's the quarterback, if Matthew Stafford's the quarterback, it doesn't matter. McVay is going to take an L. And I know a lot of people out there believe in him being a great coach. Overall, he's a really good coach. He's been to a Super Bowl, lost. He's been to a Super Bowl, won. But he always loses to Philadelphia. And it's going to happen here on Sunday. Book it. Bet your house on it. If you're broke, get out of the red. Get back into the black. Go ahead, Julia. Unlock them. And we can give score predictions now if we'd like to do that before we get out of here.
Yes.
Who wants to go first?
No, I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
I don't want
All
to.
right,
Yeah.
Jason, you have the floor.
There you go.
I'm so butthurt right now. I'm like trying to just give a
my
score.
God, he's in his field.
I'm
We're
like-
breaking
I'm
balls.
like, you sons of bitches.
We're breaking balls.
I'm gonna
Relax.
go. I'm not taking this seriously.
Read a passage. Read a passage. Inspire
Yeah, can
yourself.
you inspire
Get
me?
motivated.
I already gave you the critique. I've been giving you some. Don't take
While
it
we're
personal.
doing score predictions, I want you to read one more. I want you to exit upon a passage.
Another soliloquy for BG,
That's
huh?
right. Yeah. Yeah,
Sheesh.
he likes that. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Oh,
Score predictions.
I am so much better than everyone else. I just flipped to a page and I got a golden nugget right here.
Go ahead, read it. Read it.
No. Score predictions first.
Oh, score
Don't do.
predictions first.
I was in the middle of talking. Don't
Score
jump
prediction.
on me.
Score.
Listen, jumper. Score prediction first,
All right, I'm gonna go.
and then soliloquy, and then we got to get Julia home because she's got a beautiful dog and a wonderful fiance. She's got.
Yeah, I think I'm taking weather into account here, so I'm gonna go 28-17 Birds.
Let's go 27-21 Birds.
Oh God. 23-10.
Wow.
23-10.
Defense steps up.
Love it.
The weather. Stafford's the only one that knows about the cold. The rest of those guys, California boys. I mean, no pun intended, but they're out there cooking the heat, the travel, the short week. It's just going to be rough for a lot of people. And before I read this passage, I also just want to remind people again that it is E-Rock's birthday. So if you stayed this long, that means you're a real one. Go ahead and give him a shout out. And if you have nothing to do on Saturday and you want to enjoy your life and you love Yacht Rock, E-Rock is doing a cruise. And you can go get on that little cruise, going to Delaware and go whoop-de-whoop.
Yeah, good call. Thank you. So busy day for me Saturday at the Mitchell & Ness shop. For all of you that are flying in and visiting Philadelphia, I get a lot of DMs that ask, hey, what should I go about and do? I always make the Mitchell & Ness store a destination point for everybody. And at the Mitchell & Ness store this Saturday from noon till 3, I'll be hanging out. Come in, you spend $200, you get automatically entered into a raffle to win playoff tickets. We can talk birds, we can get you squared away, get you geared up for the game. Looking forward to that. And then on the ride down, right, I'm hosting a playoff pep rally on the Spirit of Philadelphia. Somebody who bought tickets DM'd me and said it's a good thing I did because there are exactly 10 tickets left before that boat sold out. So it's up on my Instagram page, erock_Eagles. If you're interested in joining us on the boat cruise pep rally, go ahead and visit that link. It's up on my Instagram page. Thank you very much, Black Gritty, for that.
Black E-Rock in the house. I'm doing my job. So if you're in Philadelphia, and again, you're either like on board with us or you're having trepidation and you're scared about Jalen Hurts, you're scared about the offense, you're scared about having your heart broken, which happens a lot in Philadelphia. And the page that I flipped to, the top of the passages. In summary, fear is overcome through love, wisdom, and courage. These 3 pillars are the foundation for the self-mastery that enables us to be true to ourselves and live with passion, purpose, and poise. Mastery reveals itself in our ability to be fully present with a positive energy. My goodness gracious, how you hating on AJ Brown with this book? This man has been cooked. Jim Murphy, you are cooking. I've never had that much positivity in my life. Cause I'm bred in Philadelphia. Boy, this thing might actually change my life. I bought it as a prop, but I might come in here and be nice to these fools next week. Julian, take this book home. I can't do this. PHLYCheapseats.com is where you can get the show. You can follow us on social media, and don't worry about a thing. You can't have this. I can't trust you. I
just want to look at it.
I don't even trust it. See, he touches that old. He just took all the positivity out of it. Can't trust this man. PHLYCheapseats.com, where you can find the show on the YouTube, the Spotify, the iTunes, everywhere that the podcast and show is available. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Matter of fact, send them the link and tell them it's a spicy link. Just get them to click on it. Just give it a chance. That's all we ask. Have a great night. Go Birds!
And if you don't like it, keep watching, bozos.
We all silly like the mayor.